All right, all right, all right. Hello, New York!
Hello!
Right. Welcome to the great New York State Fair. My name is Trooper Seth Little. I will be your guide on this underwater adventure. So, I will introduce you to the rest of my crew. Here we got, coming up, fearless leader, Tech Sergeant Neil Case. Hey, Tech Sergeant, I don't think you were appreciated as much as you deserve. So please come back up those stairs. The energy level here needs to increase.
Hey Seth, I'm kind of used to that.
You're kind of
being
used to
appreciated.
being underappreciated.
It's all right.
We need to appreciate him. Come on! There we go. I hope that made your day. All right.
Much better now.
All right.
Thank you.
Coming up those stairs, he is just happy to be here. You can tell by his smile. You have Trooper Mike Hennessy. And the Big E from Troop D. Trooper Craig Evil. All right. So, while these guys are getting ready to get into the water in this nice, cool, brisk day, those are wet wetsuits, all right? They are doing this for you. That is very uncomfortable, just so you know. But the history of the New York State Police dive team. Our first dive was logged in 1932, okay? That makes us the oldest public safety dive team, and we are also the largest public safety dive team. In 1932, we had troopers who had come from the Navy, and what they did is they dove in the hard helmets. They had the weighted shoes, the weighted belt, the canvas suit. They had air that was coming from the surface, and altogether the weight of that equipment was well over 100 pounds. Okay? But there was a need to go into the water for evidence, and they got the job done with the equipment that they had. Now, in 1943, there was a smart fellow by the name of Jacques Cousteau, okay? He used to have a special every either Saturday night or Sunday night on PBS. Jacques Cousteau invented what we now call SCUBA. SCUBA is an acronym, which means self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So that took the 100 pounds of weight and it reduced that down to about 40 pounds. You had the tank on your back, you had a mask, you had a nice lightweight suit with fins, and so they were able to get into the water with less weight and more maneuverability. In 1957, the New York State Police dive team decided to adopt this as its preferred method of dive. So in 1958, we wanted to learn from the best. Well, where did we send them to learn from the best? We sent them down to the New Jersey Navy Dive School. They went down there, they went through the process, and they learned from the best, and they brought those lessons back to Albany. All right, when they did that, we created our own novice dive school, the URT dive school, which is now 10 weeks. In order to get to that dive school, you need to go through an arduous process of tryout. Most don't make it. Once you get into the school, that does not guarantee graduation, okay? Our last class, we had 30 people enter the school and only 15 graduated. So to get to where these guys are right now, you have to go through a lot and you have to graduate. Let's give them a hand again. Okay, well done. All right, my job today is to make sure you guys are appreciated. I just want you to know that. Are you ready to get in the water?
Well, we are kind of ready.
Kind of ready.
But earlier you mentioned that we are the largest and oldest public safety dive team in the entire country.
In the country.
I don't think they heard you.
In the country, come on! All right, there we go.
Yes, I like it.
All right, so now you're ready to get into the water.
Now we're ready. We're going to need a countdown though.
We didn't learn that in the dive school, but...
You can start from 3.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so 3 I can do. So on the word go, we're going to count down from 3. We need some participation here, all right? So, but before we do that, if the kids want to, or an adult, that's fine with me, if they want to go up to the grass up here in front of the tank and take a seat, they're more than welcome to go up there and sit down a little bit closer. It gives them a little better advantage as far as being able to see what goes on. Any of the kids want to do that? Come on over the ropes, under the ropes. Just don't choke yourself in the ropes. All right, whatever you want to do. Hey, all right! We got a couple performers here, that's good. That's very exciting, very nice. All right, so, let's see, where was I? The countdown.
Yes.
All right, very important.
Continuing with the show.
That's I'm sorry. All right, so here we go. Go! 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Wait.
sorry. Yeah.
That was actually not too bad,
Okay.
but we're going to need a little bit more.
A little more?
Yeah.
All right, all right. So everybody where you're at, give it gusto. All right? Go!
3, 2, 1.
All right, here they go. All right. So, they're in the water. They are swimming around underwater right now, and what you will notice is that they're not rising real quick, they're not sinking real quick. This is called, what they're practicing right now is neutral buoyancy, okay? They're remaining static in the water. And even though this looks easy, this takes a lot of practice, and it's actually the sign of an advanced diver, okay? So, some of the equipment that they have a mask. That mask provides a layer of air between their eye and the lens, which allows them to see clearly in water like this, okay? Clear water. They have a regulator. That regulator is in their mouth, all right? It provides air. That air is coming from the first stage, okay? The first stage is a little system that attaches to the yoke on the back of the tank. That tank holds 3,000 pounds of air, okay? 3,000 pounds of air is reduced in that first stage down to about 145, so that it provides air to the diver on demand, all right? Now that tank is attached to a buoyancy control device. Those black flaps right there that he is holding, that's actually a bladder. You can either add air or take air away, depending on if you want to rise, if you want to sink, or if you want to remain neutrally buoyant. Okay? Fun fact about masks. When you are in water like this, and it's clear and you can see clearly, things appear 33% larger and 25% closer. Okay? So if you've ever had a friend that is a diver and they come back from the Florida Keys or somewhere where there's tropical fish and they say, hey, we saw a barracuda and it was this big. Well, it was more like that big, but it's still a good story. But you know, we always try and brag that things are bigger than what they are, right? Just happens. All right, so Sergeant Kaysen here is a fairly large man. All right, and so when he's flexing under there, his muscles are appearing 33% larger. It might be a little intimidating to poor Mike there, but Mike, you're a trooper, so you take care of business. All right, you don't let him intimidate you. Do it. Go at it. All right. So we did not learn underwater judo in the novice dive school, but we did learn what to do in case something happens to our equipment while underwater. Sometimes masks, they come off or water can get in them. How do you get that water out? Well, you're going to basically put that mask back on your face just like what you would do if you were on the surface. You will create a seal and then you'll just tip your head back just a little bit and crack open the seal from the upper part of the lip so that there's a little space right down there at the bottom of the mask, and then you will blow air out of your nose. When you blow air out of your nose, what will happen? The air bubbles will go up to the top of your mask and it will actually push the water out. Okay, so it displaces the water. And if you were up here, you would actually be able to see the water level of the mask go down as air enters into it. Now, other things can happen while we're underwater besides masks coming off. For whatever reason, whenever you're diving into in a river, you will often find shopping carts, or you will find rebar, and you'll also find trees with limbs. And sometimes our gear can get caught on that because we're in rivers, it's harder to see. It's much muddier. The Hudson, for example. Sergeant Case is going to show you what we do if that happens. And the first thing that you don't do is you do not panic. Okay? If your gear gets caught, it's all right. All right? You still have air in your mouth. You can figure out what's going on. So with that air in his mouth, he remains calm. He takes off his gear underwater. If he can figure out how to fix what the problem is, then he will fix it. If he can't, then he will just leave his gear there. He will take a breath, and then he will go to the surface, breathing air out of his mouth the whole entire way. Now, if he gets to the top, he can get more gear, go down and get the old gear, or if he figured out, you know what, I can fix the problem, he will then again perform a surface dive. He will go down and grab his gear because that is what is weighted. It keeps him down there. First thing before putting the gear on, he puts the air in his mouth. As long as you have air, there is no need to panic. And so then he just easily puts on his gear there underwater. So when this happens in a river, okay, in a pond where things aren't so deep, it's not that nerve-wracking. We're trained to deal with these things, but we're also trained to deal with things that happen at 132 feet underwater, okay? And the reason I say 132 feet, that is a 5-atmosphere dive is what it is known as, and that is what the New York State Police are trained for, okay? This tower here is 60 feet tall. So add another tower to that, and then add 12 more feet, that's 132. It's pretty deep. Things go bad at that depth because of different pressure. Yes, Sarge? Yes. Tower, 12 feet. That's right. Things go bad down there, don't they? They can. And there is pressures down there that affect equipment more than at the surface,
This
okay?
way, this way.
So we're going to simulate right now what we would do, let's say if we ran out of air at depth. So, Trooper Hennessy here is down here. He's simulating. He's saying, hey, I'm having problems with my air. He's getting the attention of his dive buddy. Remember, equipment can fail. You need a dive buddy. Dive buddy comes over. Dive buddy takes the regulator out of his mouth, and he doesn't give it to his friend, all right? He maintains control. The reason he maintains control of that regulator is because he is the one who has air, which makes him a little less nervous, okay? A little bit more under control. So he gives his buddy a couple breaths, he takes a couple breaths, and then they get things under control and say, let's go to the surface, and they will go the full 132 feet up to the surface, taking buddy breaths. All right? Now in the novice dive school, one of the things that we really train while we're in the pool is we train these guys to swim underwater, not panic, even if they don't have air, okay? Most of the time, most of the divers can swim underwater for a total of 200 feet without coming up for air, without air on their back. We actually had one of the divers this last class go over 300, all right? Pretty impressive, all right? But they're able to do it. Now, one of the reasons that we might take gear off under the water, besides things going wrong, is we might want to become small. A lot of times we're going into places that we might not be able to fit. And an example of this, a world example, would be the Wild Boar team, which was out of Thailand. They were a soccer team. In 2018, they decided we don't have any soccer games today, so let's go cave exploring. Sounds like a fun idea. So in Thailand, they went cave exploring, and while they were in the caves, all of a sudden it starts to rain. The water comes up. It blocks the entrance. They have to move back. And that happened in different sections, going all the way back 2.5 miles into the cave system, all right, where there was different places that were flooded. So you have small kids, you have a small coach. How are they going to get back there through those cracks and crevices? What they did is they became small. And how they did that was they took the gear off of their backs. As long as they had air in their mouth, there's no need to panic. So they put the gear out in front of them, and then they would go through these cracks and crevices in order to get back to that place of 2.5 miles. Every one of those kids was saved. Every coach was saved. One of the divers lost their life because that is the inherent risk of being underwater. It is not natural to breathe underwater, and you should always be trained before you actually attempt it, okay? But they did a great job, so let's give them a hand. And that is the position that we put ourselves in when we go down in the water. Now, one of the reasons that I joined the underwater recovery team is because when I grew up, and you can probably tell a little bit by the gray side of my head here, but we had 3 TV channels, okay? It was UHF and VHF, And the way that my dad got the channel changed was not by remote control. He would tap me on the back of the head and say, hey, go change the channel. All right, yes, Dad. You know, but one of the shows that I grew up watching during that time was Johnny Quest. All right, Johnny Quest had the coolest stuff. One of the things that he had was an underwater scooter. I thought, you know what, that looks fun. That is what this is. This is an underwater scooter. This is a DPV. It is a diver propulsion vehicle. There is a battery, there is a motor, and there is a prop. And so you can see right here, Trooper Hennessy is showing you the ins and outs. He just jumped the shark. Come on, where's my people? Happy days, right? Happy days, that's right. All right, so he just jumped the shark and he's making this look a lot of fun, but I think that Trooper Hennessy, I think that you can make this a little bit more exciting. I want to see you go through that tunnel right there. Yes, that one. Come on, kids, do you want to see him go through that? The DPV? All right, for the kids, you can't say no. And let's hopefully he doesn't chop off his face with the prop there. Let's see, he's getting it real close. He's making himself as small as he can with it. And he made that look easy. Let's get him a hand. And there was no chopping off his face. Congratulations, that was good.
Hey, Seth.
Yes, Sarge.
He made it through there pretty easily. I think I want to try it.
Sarge, I hear some laughter in the background, and I'm assuming it's because you're a little
Because they
larger.
appreciate me.
I don't know. I think it's because you're about 33% larger than Trooper Hennessy.
It just looks that way underwater.
You're not underwater. Well, you will be.
I think I can fit.
Do you think he can make it through?
Yeah, see, they all think I can fit.
Well, hey, have at it.
I've got this.
Okay, all right. All right, so as the Sarge gets down there in the water, grabs the TPV, he is very adept at this, okay? But looking right now at that tunnel, I'm thinking embarrassment might be happening here. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, no, that is embarrassing. I'm sorry you all had to witness that. Sarge, please, you have an idea. Okay, all right, well, who am I? Have at it. Okay, right in there. Go ahead. Let's see what he does. He's getting a little push off the glass. Oh no! Unfair, but very good. Very good. All right, Sarge. We are all impressed with your wonderful ideas. Yeah, I know. We already clapped. You want more? Oh, you want food? All right, Greg? You got any food for the Sarge here? A banana. Banana, all right? Okay, all right. So while the Sarge is in there enjoying some food, getting some energy back up for the rest of the show, I'm going to tell you about our bread and butter. As a search team, okay, which is our main function, our motto is, if it's in there, we're going to find it, okay? And there is a method to our madness. And so what Trooper Hennessy is showing you right here is he has a line. This is called a search line. On the end of one side is a weight, on the end of the other is a weight. He will make that line nice and tight. Now, we are going to introduce into this situation here a mask. This mask is what we use in the novice dive school. Before we go into real life, into dark rivers and things of that nature where you can't see anything, we tape off a mask so that nothing can be seen in a pool. And in that pool, we'll put all sorts of obstructions. We'll put shopping carts. We'll put other things in there. And they will have to make it through the pool following a search line, and they will have to find what they were looking for. Now, in this instance, we're going to throw evidence in there, which is this gun right here. I'm going to put that in the water. And he is going to conduct a search underwater. And how he does that is he will hold on to the line with one hand and he will touch everything with the other. That is why we have the octopus as our symbol. If you've ever seen an octopus move over the floor of the ocean or of your little fish tank or something like that, it touches everything. There is nothing that octopus does not touch, okay? And so that is what this diver is doing right now. He is making sure that he covers every inch of the bottom of that pool. And when he gets to the end of the line, he will move the weight over just a little bit. If the object was larger, he could move the weight over a little bit more. But he goes over there and he found the gun. Let's give him a hand. Good job. Now, this gun was just used in a bank robbery, okay? And the guy that got away on a four-wheeler. So he drives a little bit farther down the river and decides to dump a four-wheeler in the river. So we need to close this case. We need to prove that this is the guy. This is registered to him. All right, so divers were called, all right? So we get out there and we go a little bit further down the river and we find the four-wheeler. Now, how are we going to get that four-wheeler out? I told you before that we have come away from hard helmet diving. Okay, our preferred method is scuba. But we have gone back and found a reason to have hard helmets for the last several years. We do a lot of overhead environment dives. One of the things that we do is we cut holes in the ice and we go through the ice, so that's an overhead environment. We go into fuselages of planes, we go into vehicles. We're lifting heavy objects out of the water. And as I told you before, sometimes equipment will fail. So if you're lifting a heavy object, you want a little extra safety, a little extra, protection for your head. So we have the most beautiful head in New York State Police right there, Trooper Greg Ebrel, and he is getting ready to go into the water. So we had the four-wheeler marked off. And all right, Mike. Okay. All right. You're having a lot of fun. All right, guys. We need to give Mike a hand so that he'll get out of the pool. All right. Okay. So, are you fit to dive? That means he's good to go. He's tapping his head. So when you're ready, go ahead and enter the water. Now, what you will notice is that this diver does not have the buoyancy control device, okay? But what he does have is he has a dry suit on. That dry suit, you can introduce air into it or you can take air out of it, all right? And that allows him to be buoyant or negatively buoyant. And you made it to the bottom. Hey, very good. Hey, no, can you dance? Let's show him a little dance. Come on, your happy dance. What is it? Oh yeah, there he goes. Oh yeah, very good. Greg is one of the best dancers in the New York State Police. No, Greg, you're not done. Wait, what? You remember what you got down there for? That's why he's the senior diver of Troop D. He forgets a little bit of stuff. All right. Yes, exactly. You need to bring that four-wheeler up. So he's running over there like the $6 Million Man. I can hear the music in the back of my head right now. All right, he is just about there. Super speed. Greg, how are you going to get that four-wheeler out of that water? You're going to lift it? I don't think you're as strong as the $6 Million Man. I don't think you can do it. All right, let's see. Yeah, no, too much effort. Too much effort, all right? What you need to do is you need to use that beautiful head of yours. All right, that's right. Yes, very nice. All right, so what he is taking out of his pocket right now is a lift bag, okay? That lift bag will allow him to lift that four-wheeler out of the water using air, using the buoyancy of that bag. So he will introduce air into the lift bag, and we have several lift bags. We have lift bags that will lift a ton of weight, or 1,000 pounds, or 500 pounds, okay? And what you can do is you can attach more bags to something if you want to bring it up, or less. So, here we go. Let's see what happens. All right, he's introducing air to the bag. That bag is getting more buoyant, which is bringing that object up, and there it goes. Now, the first thing that the diver does in order to preserve his well-being is he gets out of the way, okay? He's got the helmet on for a reason. Yes, you did. Everybody, let's give him a hand. All right? No. He gets out of the way because if something goes wrong with the lift bag, what goes up must come down, right? So, he is very impressed with himself. He is going to push that four-wheeler now where it needs to go, and while he does that, I think the sergeant has something to say.
Yeah, I just want to take a moment to recognize these guys for what they do on a daily basis. Every single time that they go underwater, whether it's in training or in a true search and recovery mission, they're putting their lives on the line to service people in the state of New York, to provide closure to cases. So I'd like you to all join me in thanking them for what they do. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sarge. And it has been my utmost pleasure to be able to describe to you some of the things that we do. We also do other things. We're involved in swift water rescue. We have a lot of our members right now that are down in the city helping with some of the swift water rescue that is going on down there right now. So keep them in mind, all right? And other than that, we have those adorable canines and their handlers. Not that the handlers are adorable, but the canines are. And so they will be next. And have a great day. Oh, wait, I forgot. We have the best poser in the New York State Police right in that water. So if you want your picture taken in front of him or want to take a picture of your kids, he is there for your enjoyment. All right? Other than that, have a great day at the fair. Thank you.